Welcome to the Organic Instinct Health and Wellness podcast, where we dive deep into the insights of living a healthier, more vibrant life. I'm Daria Kuchikali, your guide on this journey towards a holistic health and well-being. Here at Organic Instinct, we believe in the power of nature, the wisdom of ancient practices, and the advancements of modern science to create a balanced, nourishing lifestyle. As the colder months approach, many of us worry about the inevitable wave of cold and flu that seems to accompany the change in weather. Today, we're going to dive into natural and holistic approaches to help prevent and treat some of these common illnesses. Joining us today for this important conversation is Dr. Idris, a naturopathic doctor and formulation scientist with over 15 years of experience. Dr. Idris's extensive background includes nutraceutical product development, university lecturing, authorship, and currently practicing at his clinic, the Sunnah Doctor. With his wealth of knowledge, Dr. Idris will guide us through the best natural strategies to keep our immune system strong and our bodies resilient during the colder months. So grab a warm cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's get started. Welcome, Dr. Idris.
Thank you very much.
Nothing new to us. We've always been doing lives and talking to each other about various different topics. And I've known Dr. Idris for probably about 10 years now. We go back a long way.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
It's great to see one another, grow and develop into the fields that we're in and being able to be a support to the community and a guide to the community on all things health and wellness. We're going to get straight into it, Dr. Idris. I mean, we are officially in winter now, and I'm already seeing so many people come in with colds, coughs, flus. They're coming with a lot of chest congestion. Children are coming in with fevers, and mothers are complaining, and naturally they're anxious.
Yeah.
Now, the first question is, I suppose, is what are some of the most natural and effective remedies to help prevent and treat the common cold and flu?
Well, we've got a plethora of things that we can use, everything from herbs, of course, and vitamins and minerals. And there's a lot of things which are available in this store that we have available. Some of the best herbs, some of my favorite ones are things like astragalus, andrographis, echinacea, of course. We've got medicinal mushrooms, which are fantastic ingredients to use. Elderberry. We've got honey, like the cedar honey, black seed, of course. And then we've got your vitamins and minerals, things like your vitamin C, your zinc, and your vitamin D. These are all kind of your crucial building blocks to help support your immunity so you don't get sick.
Definitely. So are there specific vitamins and minerals that are particularly important when it comes to immune health? Because like you said, there's a plethora and it can get really overwhelming for the average person.
Yeah.
Are there some that you would zone into and say, these are definitely going to be one of those immune supportive?
Yeah, definitely. I guess we'll start with vitamin D, right?
Yeah.
Because during winter, we're less exposed to the sun. And as I think many of us understand now, there is something, particularly I think in Australia, where we have almost there's a barrier between the sun and us in terms of the absorption of vitamin D. Many people, men, women, and even children are coming into the clinic with really acute and severe vitamin D deficiency. So vitamin D, although it is a vitamin that does so many things, including energy and mood and bone and skeletal health, one of the very interesting aspects about vitamin D is its immunity support. So you need to have a really good level of vitamin D in your system. And when we say a good level, that means that your serum blood test would be somewhere between, let's say, ideally between 80 to 100. Most people that we see in a clinic, they come in with 30, 20. I had a lady once who was 5.
Wow.
So hence why I make this super strong vitamin D shot. So that's definitely probably one of the ones which is important. You got your zinc. During, your typical year, the other seasons, like summer and autumn and whatnot, zinc is obviously helpful for lots of things. And most of the time we should be getting it from our diet. But during winter, I would probably pay attention to having about 50 milligrams of zinc a day. That little bit of extra, between 50 and 100, depending on whether you're an adult or a child. But 50 is a really good dose to make sure that, again, you've got that core mineral in your body that's going to help to protect against cold and flu season.
How often would you recommend zinc be taken? Through winter?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. So I would, like I said, I'd probably aim for about 50 milligrams a day during winter.
Okay.
And then you've got vitamin C, good old vitamin C. They kind of go hand in hand with zinc. vitamin C, and something that a lot of people don't understand, although we make vitamin D from the exposure to sun, we don't make vitamin C and we don't make zinc. So it needs to come from nutritional sources. Um, look, vitamin C, of course, we could get it from, citrus fruits, which are not obviously seasonal during winter.
Yes.
We can get it from tomato and capsicum and any of the vegetables or fruit that are orange and red in color generally. But taking, again, a supplement that's going to give you about 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and like I said, 50 to 100 milligrams of zinc during winter, that's what I do.
Isn't it amazing how in nature, depending on the season, certain fruits and vegetables flourish? And at the moment we're in a winter and we're noticing an abundance of citrus fruits.
Yeah.
So whereas those citrus aren't abundant in summer, we've got more hydrating fruits to keep us cool.
That's right.
And hydrated.
Yes.
So the perfection of creation and the creator.
Yes.
Right there.
Yes.
Now, so you said zinc, you said vitamin D, and you said vitamin C. Really important. Those three you would say would be your top three recommendations for just general immunity.
Yeah, vitamin minerals that we need to pay a little bit more attention during winter, I guess. All the other ones out there, for example, your iron, your B vitamins, and all these other minerals, for example, magnesium, calcium, they're not necessarily helpful for immunity. So,
True. And what about just general foods and teas and tinctures that we can drink throughout this period of cold and flu that can help us? For example, in my house, we've got bone broth almost every night.
Perfect.
As part of our soups. We're taking, apart from supplements, just trying to have a really rich diet in all those great immune supportive features like elderberry syrup. We're drinking that tablespoon every day just to keep on top of things because it's high in antioxidants. For
it
instance.
is. Yep.
So you would recommend that, people consider their foods to support their immune system as well as supplements?
That's right. I mean, think of food as your medicine, right?
Yes.
And what you put in your body is the fuel to help your body run. You're a sophisticated engine, mashallah. And you want things that are going to support, obviously, your energy and your stress and your immunity. And it really comes back to what goes in between your mouth at the end of the day.
Yes. So you think like food is the foundational and the supplements are sort of the secondary thing that we need to consider to keep our immune systems robust.
That's why they call it a supplement, because it's a supplement on top of what you don't get from food.
Correct.
Yeah.
What are some habits that will compromise our immunity?
Yeah, that's a really good one. So basics, and what I'm going to talk about today is probably not new to most people, but it's the simple things like sleep. Sleep is just so crucial. We require sleep. I kind of use the analogy, for example, like your phone, right? You put your phone on charge at night, hopefully not next to your head when you're sleeping, in another room. Yes. And as you put it on charge during the night, inevitably what happens is you do these software update happens. And that's exactly what happens to us. Our body is programmed to go through self-cleaning regimes, for example, the liver and the kidneys, whatnot, and detoxification protocols. And there's this sophisticated system that the body's designed to do when you rest. And obviously, if you're not getting enough sleep, then you're going to definitely, be harming yourself in that sense. Another one, of course, is a little bit of physical activity is good too. Just because it's cold outside doesn't mean you can't do other things. Whether it's a bit of Pilates or yoga at home, or whether it's, again, even walks outside can be pleasant.
We don't have to necessarily hit the gym 3-4 days a week. It could be a brisk walk outside with a loved one or a friend or a neighbour for 30 minutes.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
And you're right about the sleep. I think it's really understated. We don't value even certain, even sleep hygiene is highly compromised. We're all on blue screens before we get to bed, or we're getting screen time off our TV. And then we're wondering why we can't sleep at 10:30 and we're clocking off at 12 o'clock and we're getting up for the day at 6 o'clock. So really those great golden hours in Chinese medicine that they refer to, where we're really replenishing and revitalizing, which is between 10 and 2. How many of us are really catching those golden hours with our current sleep cycles and all the artificial lighting and I think
it's true.
Really getting that 7 to 8 hours of quality shut-eye is pivotal to great health and a
crucial
immune system.
Crucial, absolutely. Yeah. And even little things like, you touched on there, the blue screen, obviously this is a common thing that we all do. Yes. Sometimes we just on a Thursday night, we want to have a little bit of a Netflix session and inevitably the popcorn might be opened up and maybe a little bit of ice cream. I mean, these are going to happen, we all do it. But if it's a daily thing, which actually some people confess upstairs in the clique to me that it happens, that's a problem. You know, having high sugars and having a full belly when you're going to sleep, you know, that's actually not sleeping.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So what would you say around our poor habits regarding our stress levels? I think that's impacting
Yes.
our immune system too.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's another thing. I think a lot of us are highly stressed. There's a lot of anxiety these days. In fact, as a clinician, I've never seen so much anxiety than I'd say post-COVID. I think, not that I want to bring that up, but just a lot of us are a lot more anxious these days. Even kids, you know, so many of my young clients, they have really busy schedules. You know, they've got school all day, then they've got Quran classes and Taekwondo and swimming, and you know, we're always running off doing something. So, you know, on a day like a Sunday, having a just no technology, let's just have a family day, play a board game, or go out and do some hiking or something. You know,
Go back to our traditional ways.
That's right.
Technology set in and took over.
And rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Great. So, you know, moving into, you said that anxiety is on the rise. I'm definitely noticing that in the store with a lot of children all the way through to gentlemen coming in, adults, and saying, I don't know why, but I'm anxious. I get heart palpitations. I'm nervous. I'm agitated, and they can't pinpoint why. And we know that there's a connection between the mind and the gut.
Yep.
We do refer to the gut as a second brain.
Yes.
And, you know, speaking of the gut, how can probiotics and gut health influence our susceptibility to cold?
Yeah, look, that's very important. In fact, 70% of your body's immunity, and possibly even a touch more, some say 75 or 80%, of your immunity for the entire body comes from the gut. And I want to hone in on something specifically, something that we call SIGA for short, or secretory IgA. This is the immunity of your entire gut, which then translates into your body's immunity. Everything from, believe it or not, to fighting cancer cells. These secretory IgAs can somewhat be responsible, but definitely for your cold and flus, and then obviously definitely things like food poisoning. Now, there's some very easy ways that we can increase this. Saccharomyces boulardii, or SB, some people know it. This is a probiotic which does not naturally live in the gut, but what it does is it helps to force the body to produce higher amounts of SIGA. Medicinal mushrooms, for example, are excellent for this. Polyphenols, whether it's anything from green tea, dark chocolate, berries, elderberry syrup, these are all excellent to increase that. Cayenne pepper is another excellent one.
Actually, it's been a whirlwind seller in the store.
That's right.
6 months.
Yeah. So just adding these little things, you know, you're not expected to love all of these. Pick the things that you really enjoy, whether it's you like a little bit of spice on your omelette, or you love elderberries, or you like dark chocolate. These things increase your secretory IgA. And for those that are interested, there's actually a very simple test that we can tell how much secretory IgA you have. So we can then tell you how good is your immunity.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a stool test. Not very expensive on its own, but it really gives us an idea how healthy your immunity is.
It just sounds like all the things that you've just described sound very applicable and easy to apply to our lives.
They are.
By having a few simple things and just having a structured routine where you take them every morning, perhaps before you head out to school or work, or doing your motherly runs or your fatherly runs. And it doesn't really have to be so complicated, does it?
No, or even expensive, you know, just picking a few little things that work for you, that you enjoy, that you like, and just adding them into your regime. It's education, right? That's why we do these.
Correct.
Yeah.
So are there any situations where you would advise against using a natural remedy and instead recommend conventional treatments?
Yeah, well, obviously, you know, this is where a little bit of, wisdom comes in, and making sensible decisions. When someone's breathing is definitely impaired, when you feel that someone has an illness, a sickness, for example, that you feel that, you know, they're just not functioning well, high fevers, you definitely want to go and see your GPs. That's what they're there for. And, you know, unfortunately, antibiotics are sometimes needed, definitely with bacterial infections. The problem is, you know, sometimes the GP himself or herself might not know whether we're dealing with a virus or a bacteria. Antibiotics aren't helpful for viral problems. But I think definitely, you know, being sensible and realizing that sometimes you need to bring in the big guns.
Correct.
You know,
Can't sprinkle a bit of turmeric on it.
no.
Sometimes it'll warrant, a visit to the ER potentially,
That's right.
or a quick visit to your GP to get on top of it. Like, for
Yeah.
instance, in my home, we'd have a couple of family members who develop mild asthma when they get a viral, and I always have the Ventolin on hand. It's not something I
No.
would take lightly when it comes to breathing and wellness, but
No.
I also have all my other arsenal of things
Yeah.
to help strengthen their lungs, and I'll have some essential oils that I'm diffusing to help.
Yeah.
But if I find, no, this looks serious,
Yeah.
it'll either be a visit to the GP,
That's
or
right.
the Ventolin will come out, and I find instant, relief in that. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you are as well. Really
Absolutely.
grateful for the fact that Western medicine exists.
Oh, yeah.
And the Gulf definitely does come to the rescue for many things.
Yeah.
But it's about balancing Western with natural medicine.
That's right.
And finding that sweet point.
That's right. And I think that's, you nailed it on the head. It's a sweet spot. Doing these little preventative things, even bringing in the treatments. For example, we've got my immunies here, and we've got the elderberry syrup and the cough and kids liquid. These things are great, and in the most part they'll work. But when things get serious, when you're noticing that there's a color change, when there's a change in pulse, when there's a change in breathing, and someone's got a really high fever, probably above 38.6, I guess, 39, you definitely want to then go and see someone, a doctor, or go to the ED.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would love to put the spotlight on your immunities liquid, Idris. This has been a best seller in the store and online. You've got 10 incredible products, ingredients in there that make it up. We've had it for about a year now in the store. The feedback that we're getting from people is phenomenal. I'm hearing anywhere from, I haven't got sick this year, to I'm up and at them within 24 hours versus 2 to 3 days. That takes most people. I'm also noticing a trend lately where people who are falling ill are staying ill longer, or relapsing quickly, 3 weeks later falling ill again. Without diverting too much, because I can get really carried away with this topic, the immunities. Please, can you tell us about why you've selected the ingredients that are in there and how it actually helps? Because I know that we can take it as a maintenance dose daily, but we can also up it to 3 times a day when we're not feeling too well.
Yes.
I'd love to know a bit about the product.
Yeah, well, thank you. Look, there's always a reason why I make stuff, and I actually made this for my son. I've got a little 2-year-old, and at the time he just had this, chesty cough and a sniffles that I had been using all my other little products that I had available at the time, but we couldn't really just kick it. And I said, that's it. I just want to make something that's going to work. So I brought out all of the strongest immune-fighting herbs that we know of. It's got really high doses of astragalus and andrographis. It's got 2 types of echinacea. It's got elderberry. It's got the tincture of black seed, which is a little bit different to black seed oil. And then we've got 5 medicinal mushrooms and raw local Australian honey. And so you can definitely use it as a preventative. So you can take a daily dose once a day. It's really suitable for children. I'm going to say between, 1.5 to 2. I've put 2 on the label, but younger children can take it with discretion. But 2 upwards, there's a dose of 2.5 mils, and you've got older children that take 5 mils and adults 10 mils. So that can be once a day. And then, unfortunately, in the case that someone does fall sick, you can definitely increase the dose to 3 times a day. There isn't any herbs in here for coughs. It's literally to stop that illness, whether it be bacterial or viral. And that's why it's excellent that we've got some other products here. For example, this one here would be a really good combination because it's got the ivy and the licorice for that chesty cough. So you could actually bring them in together. But it's for general immunity.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, Dr. Idris, if you consult with him, you'll notice that he's got a huge arsenal of wonderful supplements that he can actually prescribe to you for your immune system support and many other health concerns. And even in the Organic Instinct store, you'll notice, on our table here that we've got a number of preventative but also very healing products, such as the sacred honey, the black seed oil, which is a very well-known prophetic hadith to cure all except death.
Yep.
Yep, I said it. And
Yes.
rocket fuel for when you're feeling a little bit congested and you need to open up the ear, nose, throat. Elderberry syrup. So many wonderful remedies at our disposal that we really don't have the excuse to grovel in our illness and say, oh, well, it is what it is and I'm just going to, live it out.
That's right. Yeah.
So many different options. Dr. Idris, practical day-to-day tips to incorporate natural health practices. So you talked about sleep.
Yeah.
That one's pivotal. What else can we do from wake to bedtime to help with support our overall health, not necessarily just immunity, but our overall health, because we've got mental health issues, we've got the immune system, which we've already discussed. There are so many things that you're seeing in your clinic every day.
Yeah.
What would be the top 3 concerns in your clinic that you're noticing?
Oh, wow. I think probably the top one is stress/anxiety/mental health is probably number 1 at the moment, sadly. And that's affecting young children right up to older citizens.
Yeah.
Definitely gut problems, a huge amount of gut problems. And we're seeing some really bizarre things too, like rare infections that people have, and then, of course, I think probably if I was to say third, I would say that there's a lot of aches and pains out there.
Yes.
Probably more so than normal.
So inflammatory conditions are on the rise.
Inflammatory conditions. And I would probably say that even immune inflammatory conditions, a lot of autoimmune conditions popping up. So, yeah, look, it's definitely busy for me, unfortunately. And, there's a great need. And like you asked, what are some of the basic things that people can do? I think it starts with living. I had a lecturer who said this, and I never really appreciated it at the time, but she said, live like your great-grandparents lived.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. They definitely were less stressed. They had a probably much healthier diet,
Quite a life than us, Idris.
They did. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
At our disposal.
Too
Every
much.
form of technology.
Yeah.
To smart technologies, but we're the most stressed generation.
Exactly. And it just doesn't make any sense. I mean,
where did we go wrong?
I know.
I feel like it goes back to the gut again, because a gut that's impaired and not functioning well is going to affect your mental health, it's going to affect your immune health.
Yeah.
I think the way society's moved now, especially with the Western world, everything's so processed, it's so fake, it's so quick, it's so fast.
It's instant, We've developed this drive-through mentality.
Correct.
So, but yeah, look, I think starting there, I mean, of course, I'm not saying we have to live with, kerosene lanterns or whatever, but probably at least when it comes to food, for the most part, they probably ate fairly healthy.
Yes.
Our great-grandparents, that is. Another thing that someone else said, which I try to replicate, is, eat a rainbow. And I reckon if you were to do a survey, how people take photos of their meals?
Yes.
I think a good majority of people, their meals are generally, in terms of color, anywhere from kind of this browny color.
Yeah.
It's very common, right? Bread, rice, meats. You want to add a little bit of color to that because color shows nutrients.
Correct.
So
antioxidants, vitamins, minerals.
Yeah.
Get those capsicums out, the broccoli, the cauliflower.
Correct. Yeah.
A rainbow, not
That's right.
Skittles.
Yeah.
It's more so, from the earth, from the
Correct.
soil.
Yeah.
What we want to encourage. And we want to encourage our children. So at grassroots level, we want to make sure that we're getting their palate ready from a very young age. And in fact, I think it starts with conception. So what the mother is eating ultimately is going to affect the palate of the child to some extent. And then environmentally what we offer them is really, really important. So
that's true.
The rainbow.
Yeah, in the rainbow and you're just trying to reduce, do an audit of how stressed is your life? What are areas that you can maybe reduce some of those stresses because you are in control in the most part of a lot of this stuff, whether it's not, it doesn't have to be anything drastic like leaving your job per se, but, little things are just going to contribute to being a healthier, happier you, working on your spirituality, working on your relationships, getting fresh air, all these sorts of things, sleep. It all comes together.
It just sounds like one big pie. When you think about it holistically as a naturopath, you're not just treating what people are putting on their food, on their plate. It's not just about the plate, is it?
No.
There's so many aspects to good health, and one of them's food, but then you've got your social health, your spiritual health,
That's
your
true.
mental health.
Yeah.
And when all parts of the pie are given attention,
Yeah.
you have this really optimal version of human health and well-being and
Absolutely.
potentially longevity.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it all comes together and it all contributes together.
Right. So a lot of things discussed in a span of 30 minutes. Idris. Any final closing comments that you want to offer for the current, season that's upon us with cold and flu? So, for example, someone is just about to come down with a sore throat. They're feeling, sore throat, aches and pains have kicked in. What are they reaching for?
I'd probably reach for this guy here and definitely dose up. It does work, tried and tested by many people, including my household. And then, like we said, get into some of those basics: your vitamin C, your zinc, vitamin D,
teas, perhaps.
Yeah, you ginger and your lemon and cedar honey, and you've got black seed, and there's so many goodies.
Cook up a nice broth.
Yeah, bone marrow broth. Some of those stuff. So. And as we said, don't forget those little things that you can add into your lifestyle, whether it be the cayenne pepper, more polyphenols, a rainbow of foods. It all helps.
Definitely. Thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Idris. We really appreciate all the gems of wisdom that you've imparted for our audience today. You can catch Dr. Idris at the Sunnah Doctor, consulting in Coolaroo in the Organic Instinct building. We'll have all these details available. Thank you once again, and we look forward to further chats with you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you.